I've been blessed from the moment I started my career. Having started it in England. There's never been any time that anybody has been and worried me about that. If you follow my career, if you know my work from England, I've occupied and done works that are not necessarily written for black women. They call them racially neutral arts. Because then what they were dealing with is whether you have the talent and the ability to put that talent across. And they got that. And nobody ever bothered me. I've always had, if you looked at my work, I've never had any silly, stupid parts. I started at the top and I'm going on and from the top. So it hadn't bothered me. Racism is bad and it's systemic and all that. But there's a lot also we have to do. If we're proud of ourselves and project ourselves as what we are, a people of great heritage, I think the world accepts you for what you are. They've never dared play that in front of me all my life. Look at my career and see whether I was lying. And you will see that I've never bothered. I've never been worried. I've never been bothered. Nobody's disrespected me enough, ever. They would call my agent for the parts. I wasn't running around begging anybody for parts. They recruited me, if that answers your question. So they sought me out. I didn't go looking for anybody. From the beginning of my career, I was sought out and given parts, which is a great testimony to the kind of effort I made as an actor, you know. I don't count it as lucky. As a human being, nobody does me a favor for me to be lucky. It was an individual thing. There were many actors there. But if you're going around behaving as though you are begging for something, you're begging for acceptance, you're begging for people to accept you for what? No, I've never been like that. I've never been like that. I think it's more of an individual something. But there were many black actors around. I ask myself as I get older, why did I have the kind of, I didn't know them when I was younger, why did I have the kind of progress, reception or whatever I had? Because the people who were recruiting me were looking for actors, regardless of their shades of color. And they would specifically include me, ask my agents what my schedule was and put me in shows. That evidently all of us were benefiting from. It was a win-win situation. When I came, the plays were very popular. For instance, if you know, some mothers do have them. I'm a guest artist there, and many guests, very big names come. If you watch the episodes, my particular episode won a Montreux Film Festival award. They showed them on cruises, on planes, as far away as Papua New Guinea. And I'm still receiving residual from that. So it has something to do with the people who are recruiting me. They know what they're looking for, and they recruited me. So yes, there was and there still is racism, but it never touched me. I suspect because I did my homework. That's why I'm always telling people, you're doing some job, you've got to be thorough about what you're doing. You don't need anybody to make excuses for you or do you any favors. I don't take any favors from anybody. You take me as I am, or you leave me, you know. But I make sure that I value myself enough to put myself in a situation where people don't insult me. Like they're doing me, they're giving me concession or patronizing me or condescending to me. It won't work with my profession, with anything I do. I've never had time for that. I believe in doing the best you can. It's not a question of whether I'm okay with it or not okay with it. I don't want to know what you do in the privacy of your room. It's got nothing to do with me. Do you know why Brobisky and his ilk are there? The media gives them oxygen. You promote them. You give them attention. And they seek the attention and you give them attention. So why now blame anybody? In Nigeria, there have always been homosexuals. There have always been cross-dressers. But I think our culture here has been so sophisticated, so tolerant, so intelligent that we say everyone to his own. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have any right to give anybody authority to be what God made them or what they want to be. No, it's not your business what anybody else does, as long as they don't rub my nose in it. But you guys give them fresh air, and you give them oxygen, you're giving them attention, you're giving them publicity. They've always been around. I go with my tradition where we knew people like that existed, but we let them be. We say, well, I don't do it, but that's how it is. That's okay. Live and let live. It is respecting another human being. You don't stand in judgment over anybody. Now, the UK, the colonialists who had that law on their books, even in the Bible, they were homosexuals. So what are we talking about? Because these things are scientific. People have certain chromosomes. There's nothing anybody can do about it. You can't punish people that are by being born like that you put them all in jail. I think it's the most retrogressive thing in the world. So don't get my view about whether I like homosexual, I don't like homosexual. It's got nothing to do with that. It is not my business to like or dislike anybody. It's not my business. Live and let live. As long as they're not wanting to steal my child and indoctrinate that child. Yes. So making these laws, especially in Nigeria, is the most hypocritical law I've ever seen. Because there are your boys going around in Abuja with boyfriends from ministers, from legislatures. So what the heck are we talking about? Just because your bosses from foreign countries, from America or whatever, says that you should start persecuting some people, then you got to do it. Now, I'm not saying somebody should advertise that everybody, you can be homosexual if you like. Oh, no. The reason people are doing that is it's fashionable now. When you want to start something, you start some kind of controversy about it. You build it up, you build it up, you build it up, and they become mainstream. That's what you guys in the media are doing. So don't ask me about this girl, many boys turning like that, because it seems glamorous to them. You've made him glamorous. He went to Dubai or whatever, you took his picture, you're running it and running this, running it and that, and you say that other people, impressionable souls, would not want to be like that. This is what is happening with showbiz as well, where you have Instagram actors, where they're going like that. Everybody wants to be an actor. They don't know what being an actor is about. So you guys think about these things properly and stop persecuting and demonizing people. It's their business what they are, as long as they don't trespass. They don't involve anybody else in their business. And the people who are making the law, they know themselves that they are like that as well. They're pedophiles and homosexuals. And then they're making law. It's the greatest hypocrisy. So tolerance, if we have a society that we're not tolerant of one another, we cannot, not all of us sleep and look in the same direction at the same time. It's the saying by the Yorubas. In other words, look at my fingers. They're not equal. They're all different. Take this one off, I'm crippled. I will not be able to operate efficiently. Now, if somebody has talent and you start persecuting him just because he's homosexual, you deny the society of the talent of that person just because he has a different sexual orientation. I mean, who the heck are you to be talking about what anybody else's sexual orientation should be? Who the heck are you? Do you see what I mean? I think we take it upon ourselves. We take too much on ourselves. This self-righteousness. It's like Jesus and the crowd and Mary Magdalene, who was a prostitute, right? And everybody wanted to stone her to death. And he asked all of the idiots standing by, if you have not sinned in your life, pick up the first stone and hit the woman. So, we all have our peccadillos. We should be tolerant of one another. And enough of all this self-righteousness of people wanting to get rid of some people and put them in jail. We don't have anything better to do than to be persecuting our sons and daughters. I'm a heterosexual, intensely heterosexual. Yeah, that's my business, not anybody else's. So if you're homosexual, good luck to you. That's how you run. That's okay. As long, don't mess your nonsense in front of me, and I won't mess mine in front of you. Finish. Tolerance. So I'm not condemning anybody. Don't condemn anybody. The Bible says, judge that ye be not judged. For with what measure you measure to somebody shall be measured unto you. What is missing right now? Literacy. We're not literate. We don't read. The scripts are not good. And most of the actors are wannabe actors. They're divas. Instagram actors. As simple as that. I'm not knocking I don't think I'm saying anything new for anybody to say. First of all, there is no literacy. They're illiterate. Scripts don't talk about our condition in an intelligent way for people to put across to people. Good films talk about your condition, what is happening around you. So you show the bad guys and the good guys. And as you're showing those, you subtly indicate that the bad guys cop it in the end. That's a message that don't do wrong, because when you do wrong, you're going to get it. And that this is the way we should be going. Is that a film that we're doing now? No. We have corrupt policemen. How many films do you see addressing the issue of our policemen? It isn't. It's what I call dealing with quantum physics, cause and effect. When we're nagging policemen, we're trying to correct effects with effects. You have not asked yourself, what's the quality of education of the policemen we're recruiting? What kind of training are they getting? What sort of pay are you giving them? What living conditions do they have? When you have people working in this kind of situation and they're paying for their uniforms, do you have a system? You don't have a system. You don't have a security system. It's a free-for-all. And then when you do that, you then unleash them on the population. There's no supervision. There's nobody looking to see what they do. But it's the film industry that should be dealing with that. I've just highlighted the points that the script will be dealing with. Not just condemning the policeman, not just say our policemen are corrupt. That's rubbish. Because they're corrupt, they're hungry. And so if they're hungry, they're not being paid properly and everything, they're going to be shaking people down in the streets. So we promote a corrupt society, and then we moan and groan against self-righteousness, like in the homosexual business. You don't do anything about what you should be doing, and you start messing about condemning some people. So I understand the policeman's situation. I'm not defending them, but I'm saying that you have to know the cause before you start worrying about the effects. When you know the cause, you're very careful. So when you know the cause, you go and deal with the cause. Is that what we're dealing with, or just condemning the policeman? There should be dialogue. First of all, the government is wrong. You can't just go and say, go and open. You have to treat what the boys are talking, what your children are talking about first. And having treated, it's not enough to say you had a panel. You know the result of the panel. Yes. Do I know the result of the panel? Well, this is what I'm talking about, the quantum physics area that I'm talking about, cause and effect. You cannot say you're doing anything until you've communicated to the community, but that particular target audience, that this is, and explained to them. It's not a question of appeasement. Although you have to appease your children, if your children are not happy, It's your responsibility to look after them. There's no going on this high horse that our government goes about with its population. They're still part of this population. These are still their children. And we've got to get out of this I, myself, me, myself, and I. If it doesn't affect me, then it's not happening. Every child is my child. Now, if the tribunal reached a conclusion, then the first thing they do before they start saying they're opening anything is to create public awareness. Not just to that particular target audience, but to the whole population, because we were all hit by this scourge, by this war. It was an internal war. We lost lives. We lost lives. We unleashed on ourselves a horror that will take a long time for us to recover from. Now, then the people in power should recognize that this business of might is right is stupid. It's not wise. You know, if you're a parent, just because you have power over somebody, you can't just dictate what would happen. You know, you cannot do that. It's not fair. So obviously, you're asking for it if you just say you're just going to open the thing without telling them that this is it. Or how can we sort ourselves out? Please be, bear with us. We have to do this. We have to do this. But if you take the view that you don't owe anybody any explanation, I don't think that's wise for so-called leaders. It's not wise. You get your. I know that just having the tribunal is not enough. You have to disseminate the ideas generated from there, and you have to communicate this to your community. Completely, always treating the citizenry as if they don't exist or as if they don't matter. Being indifferent to us is what's going to generate that kind of uprising. Well, that's my take on that. I think we should communicate more. Yeah. I think our leaders should get off their high horses. That they think that we don't understand how they're thinking. Address the issues. Stop being self-righteous and wielding power in such cold way to its people. It's not war. These are difficult times, and I expected them to be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more outgoing, reaching out to people, sowing more peace and understanding and communicating better. Is what I want to say. A weaver of wisdom. Wow, what a clever girl. I think they're going to live to regret that line of thinking. It's against nature. And it's against any sensible view of society. I'm not saying people should be conformists, but I'm saying that the family of man is made up of family of man. And it is in a family that you grow children to populate the world and to give a structure, a stability to the community and everything. I think it's perversity for women in particular, and I'll come to that later, why I think they are wrong-headed in thinking like that. Women have power. They're like that because they don't really understand the nature of the power that a woman possesses. We are the people who create the world. If you understand what I'm saying. We are next to God. We are God's lieutenant. God is a woman. God wanted to populate the world. He came by himself and he came in a woman. All the divine qualities that God has that we talk about, love, tolerance, nurture, forgiveness, perseverance, overcoming, honesty, victory. We associate all these things with God. Who is more loving than a mother? Now, no, first of all, who creates all the children that are in the world, men and women, whether they're president or whatever? You tell me anybody who wasn't born by a woman, born of a woman. None. That's God at work. That's how he decided to organize this world. Our women do not really fully understand the power they have, their divinity. By saying, because all that is ruling them is money. I'm here to tell you that money isn't everything. Money is a servant. Money is only important in the way it helps us buy food, buy clothes, and whatever. But if you measure all your life on how rich you are, or that you want money, then your value system is upside down. We just had a big man died recently. 10 Rolls Royces in his garage. Was he able to take it? Did it help his breathing when it came to it? The most valuable thing we have is our life, is breath. Now, when we start thinking money and position and status are everything, then we are lost. And if our women, who are our mothers, who, as I said, are God's lieutenant or God himself, start to think like that, then I don't believe in the devil. Oh, maybe the devil is alive and abroad. Because we are divine. Women are divine. We are God. And this in you is God. There's God in everybody. We're all individuation of God. But a woman is God. God is a woman. We are the people who allows to carry babies and deliver them. And when we deliver them, do we throw them out? We suckle them, we nurture them, we protect them, and we look after them till we die. We think about them till we die. Only God does things like that. Notice that the man has the baby, has the children, 5 children, maybe by 5 women. Does he stay around looking at them? He doesn't. He's gone like the wind. He's not around. So who trains, who socializes these children? A woman. And then you will have that kind of responsibility. Not just the responsibility, but power. It's a power that even men in all their brawn, with all their brawn and all their strength, cannot partake of. And you say you want to jettison that because now you are a graduate, you're working in a bank and you're getting money. You think that's what life is all about. All I can say to that question, in this my long-winded answer, is that it's an ignorant way of looking at the world. It is stupid, it's idiotic, it's infantile. It's coming from people who have not used their brains to think about how the world is organized. Because when you know the responsibility that a woman has to keep the world stable. If we had women governing us, we would have a different perception of what our needs are in this country. Most of the countries where women are leaders, they're stable, they're doing well. Doesn't mean they don't have problems, but the sensitivities and the passions and the grace that women have, men don't have them. They don't begin to share them. So somebody sees me cry, thinks I'm weak. That person is stupid. That person doesn't know what it's all about. So yes, we get pregnant, we're weak during pregnancy, we're weaker than men. Didn't you, those girls, I want to tell them, haven't they seen what God has made between men and women? Men have just been provided to give us the sperm, to fertilize, and we carry on. And God provided them so that while we are in gestation period like that, when we are supposedly weak, while we are in delicate situation, they can carry on fetching and hewing wood, protecting the homestead. But the person who keeps the homestead together is the woman. I lie. All of us have mothers. They're forgiving. There's nothing that once you have a child, that child is your preoccupation. And it doesn't matter how many of them you have. You live for them. Do your fathers live for you? They live for their girlfriends. They live for their sensation at the end of their kidney. You know, that's what it is. But a woman, even if she's having lovers, her children are paramount in her life. They're the only thing, they're the major sensation, the major investment she's made in life. I would have that kind of power, and then I say, because I earn, how much can you earn, or how liberated can you be to be saying that I don't need a man. I don't need a man. That's so irresponsible. I can go on all day about that, because you bring children up. What about the children you're likely to have? You deny them of a father figure? And you think because it's only money that raises children? Do you know what is happening with our Nigerians abroad who take their children thinking they're going to start a new life with them? They go in there, they're working all day, they don't have time for these children. These children are in the plaza stabbing one another. They're a nuisance to other societies. Do you know that's what's happening to us? So if people are responsible and have their eyes open, how can they say that? You know the influence of mothers. We need to shape the lives of our children. The same with the so-called elite who have their children and send them abroad to be educated, because they're divorced from the values of Nigerian culture and everything. You know, I'm always talking about quantum physics, cause and effect. You have a society that commodifies women. We're nothing in their eyes. We're just there to be used. We're sexual objects. A man will be having an argument with you, he'll tell you, I have one like you at home. No, he doesn't. I'm sure some of you have heard it. He doesn't. You're special. But he's so ignorant, he doesn't know it. We don't value women. You have a legislature with some of whom contains pedophiles, quite frankly. Yes. Married to 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old. Yes. You have those of them who are not even married to them, who are eyeing 14, 15, 16-year-old. It's a sick society. So that non-self-righteousness of the homosexual and this, it's sad. So if you have a society like that, and you have a preponderance of men in the police force and the security forces, and many women just are there, tokens, appendages, right? Even in the legislature, what are your women doing there? They're just carrying the briefcases and following the men around. As long as you have that kind of situation, and the women don't have any value in this society except as breeders. And I told you earlier on how powerful women are, how divine we are. Well, look at see the contrast. And in this society, they're not valued at all. So I report to the police station. Do they do anything? What is a woman there for if not to be slept with? So what's a big deal? Your boyfriend raped you, so big deal. What do you want me to? He's a man, because that's how he feels. They see you immediately, they have fancies of sleeping with you. Those are the people you think will enact laws that will look after anybody, because they're too dumb to know that these women being raped could be their mothers, their daughters, their sisters, their aunties, their grandmothers. How sick can it be for a 74-year-old man to rape a 4-year-old? And nobody is doing anything about it. In Saudi Arabia, they would have chopped his head off. People like that, there's no discussion. But if you run a government, if you run a society of impunity, you can get away with anything, particularly if you have, long legs, or you know somebody who knows somebody. Anything happens. So why are we shouting about nobody is doing something about something? I beg, give me peace now. You should not expect for anybody to do anything in those circumstances. Who are there? Who are the people at home to do the things that you want them to do? When they're marrying 14-year-old and they're doing big parties for this wedding, and all your big ministers and whatever attend the party of this marriage to a 15-year-old. So you tell me, who's going to make the legislation? Who's going to enact that legislation that's going to correct the issue? This is why I'm saying it's about time. Women, particularly you women in the communications, you start grooming your kind. You start supporting one another. This is not a gender war. I'm just telling you as it is. This is the situation now. It's not a question of whether I hate men or don't. I'm a heterosexual. I love men. But they're useless, quite frankly. In terms of fighting for you, forget it. They ain't going to fight for you. Excuse me. A man will come to you and say, I saw that girl, she was hot, I had a good time. You're going to say, should you have done that? No, they're going to aid him because he wants a bit of the action as well. That's how dumb they are, because their thinking is at the tip of their so-and-so. That's where their brain is. So those are the people you're thinking will save you, will change the situation. Well, you guys in communications and you women generally start thinking of what is important in your life instead of thinking men are going to do it. It's women are going to do it. Put more women in power. Put more women in position of authority. Train more women. Help one another. Support one another. Vote for one another. Most women will rather vote for men than the woman. You want to change perceptions and thinking of your girl children. Instead of them sitting around saying, they don't need a man, they got money. It's got nothing to do with all that nonsense. There are bigger fish to fry, bigger issues to deal with that women should concentrate their minds on, but they're not, which is why I call them idiots. Because if you're not using the brain, you see, if you have a brain and you're not using it, somebody else will use it for you. That's what men are doing to you. Because it's either, the only thing is, you think you should be fleecing men. Make yourself pretty so the man likes you. So he can give you a house in Lekki and send you to Dubai and then give you a shop. That's the sum total of your ambition. Where you can have the world and make a contribution. All I have to say to those girls is stop being parasites. You are parasites to the nation. Make your own contribution. Don't keep telling me men won't let us. No, nobody gives you power, you take it. Because nobody is stopping you from getting power. So enough of all this business, there's only men doing this. Anybody stop me? Even racial discrimination, did it stop me? Did it stop Okoji Iweala? Did it stop Obi Ezekwesili? Did it? So enough excuses, please, I beg. When people are lazy, they start saying somebody is stopping them from doing something. You don't want to do it, so you have a ready scapegoat for not doing what you should do. I couldn't live without music. I don't mean noise. I mean music that speaks to the soul. Whether it's classical music, whether it's jazz and voices, whether it's instrumental jazz or voice, I couldn't do anything. I wake up to music. I go to bed to music. I need to be in a certain zone. I like to be in a certain zone. I feel bereft if I don't listen to music that's actually addressing my soul. And my life is round love. I don't think there's anything going that comes close to love. And understanding what that means. And it's not about you, it's about somebody else. Just as life is not about you. Don't make life about you. It's about thinking warm about somebody else. Look at when we're listening to music, look at the electric in the room, because everybody was radiating such joy that's almost sad, that's going right deep down into the primordial nerve. that we have. It talks, good music talks to us, no noise, expressing mood. And God has given us that. That's why He's giving us voice and giving us sounds, which we make into music, which will appeal to us. So I'm working, I have to play the right kind of music. I'm studying a script, I have to play music to get me back to where I came from, so that I can hear what the scripts are saying to me. I know it sounds precious, but it is, well, you know me, but it isn't. I get myself into the mood of anything. So enjoy yourself, enjoy the music.
Thank you.
Yeah, listen to good music. It will inspire you. It will change, transform your life, really. Whether it's about your work, whether it's about a relationship, whether it's about somebody, whether it's about your mother, or anybody you love. It will give you a purpose, a way to view life. Life is wonderful. You can see it, I'm 80 and I'm living. That I have loved and been loved. There's nothing else. Everything else is dross. I'm not my work. I'm not the clothes I wear. I'm not the shoes I wear. I'm not my house. I'm not all this. I am me. I am love. That I have loved and been loved passionately. That's enough for me. Everything else perishes. Everything else goes. Love is forever. Look at him. He looks at me with great passion. You're looking at me with great passion. What can beat that? What beats that? The clothes I'm wearing that we can put fire on and it's finished? But you will remember me. We will remember one another all our lives. That's what's going for us. Nothing else going. Nothing. Not money, not anything. But relationships. Deep, good, genuine, real relationships. I'd like you to remember that I was real, that I was here, and we were together. That's enough for me.